Hello and welcome to Pro Tips for PositrakPro, our online video training series. In this video, we're going to cover advanced cataloging features, including some of the customization options that are available to personalize it more to your liking. Feel free to pause the video at any time to try any of these features yourself. So let's open up a catalog window and let's just review the basic layout real quick. Our current car is up at the top left. A list of recent vehicles below that, and then in the bigger part of the screen here, the catalog lookup. I can single click through these year, make, model, engine, and so on. I can also type in a VIN number at the top. Only the first 10 digits are required, but I can click through the year, make, model, and engine. When I get down to the engine at the end, I can double click to go straight to it, or I can single click and click the Get Parts button down at the bottom right. Now that the vehicle is populated, each of these segments here are clickable, so I can return to the vehicle lookup. If I maybe picked the wrong engine, wrong model, I can click on that. It will take me back to the vehicle display, and I can select a different engine. Once I have a vehicle populated, I can look at fluids and specifications on the left. That will give me data like engine oil capacity, transmission fluid, and so on. And I can also browse through the part categories to get to a part type, or I can search at the top. I can search, and it's best to be less descriptive here. So if I want to look for a water pump, it may be best to just search water or just search pump, and it'll find it for you. Press enter, and it will display the categories for you. I can also single click through the categories here. The advantage to that is when I get to the final category, I can get more than one part type at a time by single clicking on the category itself. I can also select all if necessary, or I can just double click to go straight to it. Once I see parts on the screen, the green numbers are the numbers that I have in stock. They always show up at the top, sorted by on hand. After that, you'll see numbers that you're either out of or maybe NS or non-stocking numbers. Those show up in blue. There's also another category here that shows up in orange. Those are numbers that you're out of, but you may have an alternate part listing for. I can see images and specifications by clicking the More Info link at the far right. That will show me pictures, specifications, any other media provided by the manufacturer, and a buyer's guide. I'll close that to go back to the catalog window. If I want to sell a number, I can double click. That brings it back into point of sale where I can preview the quantity and the price for the customer I have specified. And I can press enter to put it on the invoice. It displays the vehicle on the invoice and on the hard copy as well. If I need to continue looking up parts, I can click back on the catalog and it's right where I left off. So I can do a new car with the new car button at the top left, or I can click on the top level of the category here to go back and find another part type if necessary. So let's look at some of the customization options that are available. I'm going to close the cataloging window, close point of sale, and I'm going to jump over into preferences, enter my PIN number, and I'm going to choose cataloging preferences. and look at some of the options here. The first one that is not currently enabled here is the per car quantity in the catalog. What this does is this defaults to the manufacturer's suggested per car quantity when you go to sell the part. Now you can always override it if you don't need the full quantity. For instance, if the car requires 8 spark plugs, it will default to that when you go to sell the part. And again, you can override that if you don't need the full per car quantity amount. The second option is the sort option by quantity. This sorts the catalog results, showing those green numbers up at the top, the ones that you have in stock. It shows those first, so they're easier to see what you actually have. The next option is a color coding. This uses the colors to, again, just help distinguish between parts. Just draw your eyes to what you actually have available on the shelf. The green numbers are the numbers you have. The blue numbers are the numbers that you're out of or that may be non-stocking. The black numbers are like not in file numbers, maybe not in your database. Maybe it's an outside line or something you don't have in your system. You shouldn't see much of those parts as long as your system is configured properly. And then again, the orange is the out of stock or non-stocking numbers, but has an alternate part record. The next option is the auto add to invoice. When this is enabled, this will automatically add the part to the invoice from the catalog if the on hand is greater than 0. So let's enable that and the per car quantity, and let's save those changes, and let's see what we've done so far. This time I'm going to use the recent vehicle list and jump straight to that same car I was just on. And I'm going to go to spark plugs. And I'm going to double click on this number. Now notice what it did. It automatically put that number on the invoice. That was the auto add to invoice feature. And it also used the per car quantity of 8. Again, if I don't need that full amount, I can double click, which brings the part back down to the bottom. I can override the quantity and enter. That'll put it back on the invoice at the quantity that I need. Let's go back into preferences. And let's also turn on this auto add with performance mode. You'll most likely want this on in conjunction with the auto add to invoice. They kind of work in tandem. Let's save changes. Back to point of sale. Click on catalog. And again, you jump to the vehicle we were just at. Look up spark plugs. I will double click on the number. And notice what it did. The cataloging screen kind of flickered, but here's what it did. I'm going to close it so you can see. It automatically added that to the invoice like we saw a minute ago, but then it also flipped back to the catalog. So I can go directly back to work looking up another category if necessary, or if I'm done, I can just click the X to go back to point of sale. Let me show you that one more time with another part. I'll double click on this part, and it's right back at the catalog after adding it to the invoice. Let me show you one other thing here. If you double click on a part that you're out of, with that performance mode and auto add to invoice enabled, if you're out of the part, it will pause here at point of sale, and this will give you a chance to check stock at your vendor, or maybe do something else, check another source. But it only adds to the invoice automatically if you have it in stock. That's all for this pro tip video. Be sure to check out our other how-to videos and tutorials. You can subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for more information. Links for those are in the description below the video. Thank you.